Good morning. Welcome in to the Respawn Report. I'm Zach. I'm your host. I'm so excited to be with you this morning. And let's jump right into the news of the day. Today on the Respawn Report for 10/1/24, we're going to have details about the Assassin's Creed Shadows delays. We'll jump in and chat a bit about the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield. And we've got we've got sales numbers for GTA 5 in Europe, which outsold Star Wars Outlaws in the month of August, which is just hilarious. Sony replacing your PS5 home screen, and some details on a few other items and quick hits. So let's jump into the biggest story of the day. For me, anyway, this is an exclusive from Insider Gaming, written by Tom Henderson. Some great details in here. Excited to jump through it. The exclusive context around the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay. Last week, Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows would be delayed from its intended November release date to February 2025. While the announcement was somewhat of a shock publicly, internally it was expected and desperately needed. Ubisoft announced that the game was delayed to polish and refine the experience in its earnings update. The company further claimed that the delay was due to the learning from the Star Wars Outlaws release. Both claims are true, but beyond a few short words, internally, the developers have been pushing for a delay for the best part of a few months, which had fallen on deaf ears until the release of Outlaws. Yves Guillemot, he is the CEO of Ubisoft, pointed out in an internal memo that Star Wars Outlaws' initial sales proved softer than expected, with Guillemot pointing out that critics rated the game 76 out of 100 on Metacritic. I think it's important to note that the user score is far lower at a 5.4 out of 10 too. That's Tom Henderson's note on the user score. Although I wasn't given the figure on what Ubisoft anticipated Outlaws to sell within its first month, the game has just surpassed 1 million units sold at the time of writing. Its performance has seemingly caused alarm bells to ring at HQ, which not only led to the approval of Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed to Q1 2025, but to finally putting games back on Steam, a request that every Ubisoft team has been pushing for years. So the thing that really jumps out to me is obviously that devs had been pushing and pushing for AC Shadows to get delayed, that things aren't ready. And of course, you know, it's a push and pull, right? With development, you understand Ubisoft, you know, their share prices plummeting. They want their biggest title of the year to come out, and you know, I'm sure that they're pushing to get AC Shadows out as soon as possible. Assassin's Creed is arguably their biggest IP. I don't know what else would, you know, I don't think Far Cry compares. I haven't dived into the sales numbers, something I could, you know, I should look at, but I would assume just based on, you know, the rest of Ubisoft's portfolio, I believe Assassin's Creed has got to be their number one IP. So they obviously want to get this thing out the door, and they want it to be good. And it seems like maybe after Star Wars Outlaws had its buggy release, we talked about yesterday with the them publishing their roadmap to try to fix that game. It sounds like they're listening to devs who are begging for more time, and I think something we've learned over the past few years is that most consumers are all right with a delay as long as it's well communicated, and that it's clearly communicated that it's to, you know, improve the game, and then you have to pay it off with that game releasing in a, you know, good state. If you delay the game a ton and then it still comes out extremely buggy and with a lot of issues, then that's where consumers obviously find and take issue. But so hopefully, you know, we'll continue reading the report, but it sounds like maybe The phrase "alarm bells ringing at HQ," maybe Outlaws performing a lot worse than they expected. Was the wake up call that the studio needed, so that Ubisoft needed. So let's keep reading Tom's report, because he's going to get into why was Shadows delayed here. So from Tom, so why was Shadows delayed? It's a complicated question without a single answer, but it boils down to a strict development timeline, polishing, and addressing the Japanese community's cultural and historical accuracy concerns. First, let me address some of the wild rumors about Yasuke. He's not going to be removed. However, sources have said that the team has been actively addressing many of the historical and cultural concerns, which started before the game's reveal following external playtests and were accelerated further following the game's initial reveal and mass feedback. This includes changing some of Yasuke's story and how he's portrayed in the game, fixing architectural details, and ensuring that the game is historically grounded while fitting into the Assassin's Creed universe. So, obviously, there's been a lot of controversy, if you will, around the historical parts of this game and the Yasuke character, and I don't want to dive into all of that right now. If you want content on that, it is out there for you to find. I think things that need to be addressed should, but this is also a fictional. It's a work of historical fiction. It's not striving for historical accuracy. So things that are offensive should obviously be fixed, but and hopefully any of those things that are outright offensive or along those lines, hopefully those are the things that are getting addressed. And it sounds like that's the case. So we want to be respectful to everybody, but also this is a work of historical fiction, so some leeway, hopefully, and some grace is granted to the folks just trying to make a fun game. But let's keep reading from Tom. He says, fundamentally, though, these are issues that should have been caught internally before the game's reveal, especially given Ubisoft's strict asset approval process. As for how these issues fell through the cracks, I'm told that historical experts were brought onto the project much later than usual for a project of this magnitude, and that miscommunication between teams and cutting corners when it came to the approval process of assets to meet deadlines were also at play. So, a classic, we need to get this pushed through. Are we sure that this is accurate? We don't have the historical experts around. Let's just push this through because we need to meet these deadlines set by Ubisoft, going back to the immense amount of pressure that there is on AC Shadows to perform and to get out the door. Seemingly they want it in this fiscal year, I would assume, and I assume that's part of why it's pushed to February. It's kind of the last week of the 2024 fiscal year. They usually end Q1 of that following year. It usually runs anyway. So March will be the end of the fiscal year. So I guess not the week, the month before the end of the fiscal year. So they obviously want that to get in Q1 2025 for financial and reasons. So pressure's on clearly, and these are the types of things that happen when pressure's on. So that makes a ton of sense. As for the game's polish, back to Tom. As for the game's polish and issues with the bugs, it's pretty self-explanatory. The game is currently not at the stage it needs to be for release, and I'm told that there have been some tweaks to some gameplay mechanics and elements that are going to take time to incorporate. While some of these issues were highlighted in recent playtests and mock reviews, these are end-of-development issues that will take a little longer. Of course, these are not new issues for the team. 7 developers working on the project said that they have been pushing for a delay for some time, and their situation had even been heard at other studios in the company. Ultimately, though, the delay comes down to a strict development timeline and the need to address issues caused by the set timeline. As for why Ubisoft HQ continues to ignore the developers on almost every level, Ubisoft's executive committee and board of directors will decide in their review, although 80% of 40 Ubisoft developers think this ends in no change or layoffs. But that's another story on the internal issues for another time. For now, Ubisoft Quebec will release Assassin's Creed Shadows on February 14th, 2025, And while the game isn't matching Valhalla in pre-order numbers, which launched on past generation consoles to a wider market, the numbers are solid and are likely to rise further given its Steam release announcement. So, there you have it. Some great details here from Tom, and he also has a YouTube video himself that he put up, which I'll link in the description. But yeah, Ubisoft continues to be in shambles, and I just hope I'm extremely excited for this game. I want it to be great, and so I just really hope that that the devs can get the time to do the work that they need to make this a great experience, and that also it makes a lot of money for Ubisoft so that they can continue to make Assassin's Creed games, because I think at the end of the day that is what most people want. We all want this to be successful, and we all want it to be good. So I'm hoping that with the extra time that the devs have been given, hopefully they will be able to do that. But also that Ubisoft can meet their goals. Let's hope that it works out for everybody. But I'm glad that the devs are being heard and that they're getting the extra time that they need to make this a tighter, more polished experience. So all the good vibes going out towards Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's move on to our next story of the day. Starfield's Shattered Space DLC went live yesterday. It's available for purchase for $29.99, $30 US. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can get a $3 discount on that. Shattered Space sees players embark on a journey to the handcrafted home world of House Varun and unravel mysteries surrounding the elusive followers of the Great Serpent. DLC arrived alongside a big update. The devs at Bethesda have recommended reaching level 35 in the game for the best experience. I'm a long way from that. I gave up on this game at about level 10. So I haven't jumped back into this. It makes me tired thinking about Starfield. I kind of was hoping that this would be rave reviews. And while there hasn't been a critical review roundup available yet, and in another related item, review codes I believe were not made available for this DLC, so people are playing through it on release. So we'll see what the critic response is. I saw Greg Miller at Kind of Funny playing through it yesterday on their stream. I was in and out a couple times. One of the times I came in, he'd been stuck on a quest for about an hour. So I don't think he was loving that, but I don't know that that's representative of his entire experience. So hoping to hop back in, I believe, on their Gamescast today. He'll talk about his review in progress and what he's thinking. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, a lot riding on this for Bethesda, trying to get folks back into the game. Starfield Shattered Space patch notes, because this coincided with a big release. This is from Dot Esports. Let's see. Andrei Barovich wrote this little summary of the biggest changes in the patch that coincided with the DLC. So does say performance should get a bit better. Big time modders should have an easier time overhauling the game. See, number of loaded creations would sometimes be limited to 255, making some modded Starfield runs completely unplayable. Mods are a core part of any Bethesda experience, so and there are some mod packs for the game that contain hundreds of mods. So now it seems that Starfield can be modded almost infinitely, so that's great for all the modders out there. Numerous quests have been fixed. There's 4 different quest mentions here specifically. Fixing minor problems such as wrong music playing during scenes, things like that. The vehicle that was dropped in the last patch for the game looks like has been improved. It had many bugs previously, and so it seems like its functionality has been improved. And then many locations in the game have been improved, patching up missing textures, collision fixes, a lot of visual bugs being taken away. So if you're looking to jump into Starfield again, now is probably the best time. It's the best state the game's been in. I hopped into Steam, the Shattered Space page. Looks like currently the reviews are mixed. 43% positive reviews, 557 user reviews left so far. So probably not what Bethesda wanted. Again, this is a user review. I don't know what the critical score will look like, but I'm sure this 43% positive is not what they were hoping for on Steam the day after that came out. But we'll see if sentiment turns around as more people get a chance to play through it. Again, that's based on just 557 reviews isn't nothing, but get more people in and see if sentiment changes on that at all. So fingers crossed for the Bethesda folks on Shattered Space. Again, I'm all about, I just want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to do good work, and for that good work to be recognized. So they've clearly worked really hard on this and want the game to be fun for everybody. So let's hope that they can continue to make it an experience that fans want. Next up on the Respawn report, GTA 5 outsells Star Wars Outlaws in Europe. This just cracked me up, and just a reminder for everybody, GTA 6 is going to break every record, every conceivable sales number, everything. GTA 5 still is like the biggest game in the world. When GTA 6 comes out, it could break the entire world. I don't know what's going to happen. Everybody should just be ready for unprecedented, like, natural phenomena. I don't know. Or just know that production on everything in the world is going to be stopped because everybody's going to be playing GTA 6. Not sure what the ramifications are going to be, but when that game comes out, it's going to be absolutely wild. GTA 5, just as a little double check here, that game came out in 2013. So a decade later, it is still topping sales charts. Absolutely wild. So GTA 5 came in ahead of Star Wars Outlaws, which was the highest charting new game for the month of August. It ranked number 2 on the chart overall. And then we got to just get in one last little jab at Concord here. Sony's Concord was the 13th best-selling new game, which meant it charted at number 347 for the month of August. 346 games sold better than PlayStation's new first-party hero shooter. That is just bonkers. There's reports that Concord may have sold as few as 25,000 copies. Wow. It's crazy what happened to that game. I think it's a real shame. There were pieces of that were awesome, and I have a couple friends that really, really loved it. And they were willing to be patient and have the team there at Firewalk kind of work through some of the weaker parts of the game. They really loved the kind of the core gameplay, the gunplay, things like that, and it is just wiped from existence now. You'll be curious to see what the fallout of that is, but best vibes out to the folks at Firewalk Studios. That is just an absolutely brutal story. Heart goes out to them. They put their heart and soul into this, so it's a bummer that it ended like that. But man, number 347 for the month that's brutal stuff. You really do truly hate to see it. Speaking of Sony, your PS5 home screen now replaces unique video game art with annoying ads you can't turn off. This is from IGN, Wesley Yinpool. Although, here we go. This morning, there was an update that this has been resolved. There was a technical error, which has been fixed. But there are some great some great bits here. The original story. So there was an advert system built into the dashboard interface. So when you'd pull up games, normally it shows really great like art from the game, and instead it would just pull in random ads or stories related to the game. So like Warhammer 40K, it replaced an art, the art of the protagonist in the background with this guy doing a promo video. We have for Black Myth Wukong, we have a link to patch notes, Call of Duty, promoting the Haunting update for Season 6. Then there were some more confusing ads, like Spider-Man Miles Morales had an ad for an exclusive clip and for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse coming soon. That movie came out in July of 2023. 2K25 showcases an ad for early access to the game, which is a month old. And the best part of all of this was that you could not change this at all. The only way to fix this was going offline. But it does look like Sony has fixed the issue. So, in fact, I think there was another a tweet from somebody. Oh, it looks like maybe they that said everybody settle down. It's just a new bug with an existing feature. Daniel Hyatt, he was a senior product manager at PlayStation, tweeted out, "Everybody settle down." So obviously a technical bug. It's already been resolved, but that gave me a good laugh. So never fear, if you turned on your PlayStation yesterday and were enraged at the ads, it should be fixed today when you hop on. Next bit of news, we have Horizon getting an online game before a third mainline series entry. Guerrilla Games' next major release will be the online game. Jason Schreier, the GOAT of video game journalism, in my opinion, he was discussing studio's plans for its flagship series on a recent episode of the Spawnwave podcast. Horizon Online is their next product, not whatever the third single-player game looks like, he said, so that one might be a ways off. And he also added that a lot of people are working on the live service Horizon game. So PlayStation continuing their push into the live service space, even using one of their beloved IPs to lead that charge. So obviously it's been hit and miss. Helldivers 2, hit. Concord, obviously, not a hit. Whatever the absolute opposite of a hit is, I guess just a miss. Not a better word than that. There also was reports of a canceled Last of Us multiplayer game. So Guerrilla has confirmed that they plan to continue making epic solo adventures featuring Aloy from Horizon, but not for a while, according to Jason Schreier. So those of you who are just like jonesing for the third one, find something else to get your fix for a while, or get really pumped for the live service version of Horizon, because that's what you're going to get. Quick hits at the end of the episode here to wrap us up. One of the ones I had, lighter news day outside of these few things, but we do have the Yakuza Like a Dragon show on Prime Video. Got a trailer. It actually looks pretty cool. I've not played these games. They're not really my thing, but I'll probably watch this show. It looks pretty awesome. Hopefully that fans of the Like a Dragon Yakuza series will be excited about the show. I know I am, just being kind of adjacent, knowing that it's based on a game, but the trailer looks pretty cool. So if you want to check that out, I'll throw a link for that trailer in the description, but I'm excited for the show anyway, and then maybe that will be a gateway to checking out the games. And then the last quick hit, now that we're on the first day of a new month, quick rundown of the biggest game releases we're getting in October 2024. This list is courtesy of GameSpot. So we have Kill Knight coming out on October 3rd to all platforms. This is And then we've got Until Dawn coming out on PC and PS5 on October 4th. Silent Hill 2 on October 6th, again PC and PS5. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, the new expansion. There is a new class that you can play in that one that comes to all platforms except for Switch on October 8th. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I've seen a decent amount of hype around this one. I'm not really big into fighting games or Dragon Ball Z, but for the folks that are, they seem pretty excited about this one. Backyard Baseball 97. This is something that I'm very excited about. Definitely played a lot of Backyard Baseball back in the day. This is very nostalgic for me. Backyard Baseball and Backyard Football, both absolute bangers. So that'll be coming out October 10th. We've got Metaphor ReFantazio. Talked about yesterday that there's a demo available. You can check this out. Check out a few hours of the game. This is a fantasy game from the folks that made Persona. Starship Troopers Extermination. Basically, the actual, Helldivers 2 was a spiritual successor to Starship Troopers. This is actual Starship Troopers, so hopefully it can live up to the hype of Helldivers 2, funnily enough. We got a UFC game, Life is Strange, Just Dance 2025, A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead, budget-friendly horror, but please don't make too big a noise about it. The single-player horror adventure game tells a new story within the world of the Quiet Place films. That's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. Super Mario Party Jamboree coming to the Switch on October 17th. A new way to get together with your friends and cause arguments and maybe ending those relationships. So proceed with caution. Sonic X Shadows Generations. This is coming October 22nd, and the new movie is coming out in December. So if you're into Sonic, this is going to be a great season for you. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out October 25th. There's a reworked zombies mode in this one, so that's exciting. Man, these just continue to absolutely dominate. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket comes out October 30th to iOS and Android. I saw something that was kind of that compared it a little bit to Marvel Snap. Same kind of idea, a pared down version of a mobile friendly card game. So they're trying to get in on that market. And with Pokemon, I'm guessing that this will be massively successful. It's free to play. And there will be free daily booster packs and ways to draw you in until you start swiping the credit card. But it will be free to play, so it'll be fun I'll probably check this one out and see the art, of course. Looks great. So then we have Batman Arkham Shadow. It's supposed to be coming out this month. That's a VR Batman experience. The folks on the Friends Per Second podcast about a week or so ago got to play this one, and they were definitely talking about enjoying it and thinking that it was really cool. So if you've got a MetaQuest 3 and you like Batman, probably worth checking out. And then looks like we've got Redacted October 31st. Callisto Protocol universe is being revived this month, and if you're in the mood for a roguelike dungeon crawler with a punk rock attitude, you're in luck. And then, of course, on Halloween Day as well, we have the release I am most anticipating for the month, and that is Dragon Age, the Veilguard, coming out October 31st. And yeah, I really, 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 really hope this game is good. I love BioWare, and Mass Effect 2 is probably my favorite game of all time. And I've been hit or miss with Dragon Age, and I really want this to be really good. I'm worried for BioWare if this isn't. So everybody put out the good juju for this game. All right. That wraps up the Respawn Report today. Thank you so much for joining me, listening. This should, I'm hoping, be able to get this available on Spotify as well, if you'd rather listen to it that way. But regardless, thank you. And also be sure to check out, I'll put a link for, I also publish this as a daily newsletter on Substack. So I'll put the link to subscribe to that Substack in the description here as well. So if you want gaming news delivered to your inbox and you don't have time to watch or listen and you want to just catch up quickly that way, or have a reference point to go back and read the articles, things like that, those are all captured in the newsletter. So thank you so much again, and I will be here tomorrow morning for your next respawn. Still working on the outro for this, but hey, we'll get there. This is day 2. All right. Thank you all.